Good afternoon. I'm here joined by members of my office, in particular members of the Enhanced Prosecution Bureau that investigates and prosecutes gun trafficking here in Suffolk County. Specifically, I'm here with the ADA in charge of this investigation and prosecution, ADA Mary Skyber. I'm here with the Bureau Chief of the Enhanced Prosecution Bureau, Nick Morrow. I'm also joined by investigators in my office, led by Chief Investigator John Barry. And I'm here with our law enforcement partners from the Suffolk County Police Department. We have Inspector Stan Grotsky, who oversees the District Attorney's Squad, which are elite detectives assigned to the District Attorney's Office from the Suffolk County Police Department. I'm also joined by members of the New York State Police, represented ably by Captain Christopher Casal, who's a great partner with the Suffolk County DA's office in investigating and prosecuting serious crime occurring in Suffolk County. I'm joined by Nick LaRusso, who's a member of the Suffolk County Police Department, who's a firearms expert, and is an integral reason we're all standing here and being able to successfully investigate and prosecute this case. We're here today to announce the indictment of Chester Pergin, age 53, of St. James, who's the owner and operator of Chester's Hunting and Fishing, a sporting goods store here in Suffolk County in Ronkonkoma. It's located at 232 Ronkonkoma Avenue. But because of this case and the hard work of the Suffolk County Police Detectives and the New York State Police and the prosecutors in my office, that store is no longer in business. And thank goodness, because they pose a clear and present danger not only to the residents of Suffolk County, but residents throughout the United States of America, and I'm going to detail why that is. In 2018, law enforcement received intelligence that there may be illegal gun sales occurring at Chester's. After investigating those claims, a search warrant was executed at the store in November of 2018, at which time Pergin was allegedly found in possession of 116 illegal assault weapons, including a loaded AK-47 near the front counter at the store, more than 80 gravity knives, and 820 high-capacity magazines. Pergin was also allegedly found in possession of a number of lower receivers that did not have serial numbers. And these are the receivers that we've been talking about and you've heard in the news recently. Receivers used to make the ghost guns. These are ghost guns that are virtually untraceable, and they pose a serious public safety issue for our nation. The investigation revealed evidence that Pergin would allegedly illegally purchase weapons from out-of-state retailers or distributors and illegally sell them to individuals who are not eligible to possess assault weapons here in New York State. Over the course of the year-long investigation following the execution of that search warrant, detectives attempted to locate and inspect illegal weapons allegedly sold by Pergin between 2015 and 2018, and their efforts were enormous. Think about that. We knew that this place was selling illegal firearms for a certain period of time, several years. We knew what we recovered in the search warrant. 116 assault weapons. We also knew there were weapons out there. And detectives from the Suffolk County Police Department, working with the New York State Police and investigators in my office, went out and traced those guns down. They were able to find numerous guns that were sold illegally by Pergin. In fact, we were able to recover 13 additional illegal assault weapons as a result of that effort. Unfortunately, one of those weapons that was recovered, it's here, right here on the table in this box. And the reason it's in that box and not displayed visibly is because there's blood on that weapon. And there's blood on that weapon because Pergin sold that weapon to an individual named John LaGurgo. John LaGurgo, as many of you may remember, kidnapped his son, his 2-year-old son, from Quorum, and took his son down to Virginia, murdered his son with that weapon, and then shot himself and committed suicide. He purchased that weapon in 2017 from Chester's, and his crime, his murder-suicide, occurred in June of 2018. Because of the illegal activity of Pergin, that individual, the Gurgo, was armed with a weapon to carry out his crime, the crime of murder of a 2-year-old. Pergin was indicted by my office on 69 criminal charges, including a top count of criminal possession of a weapon in the first degree, a Class B violent felony, which carries a maximum sentence of up to 25 years in state prison. And as the judge noted and the prosecutor noted and the defense attorney agreed, this is a violent felony, and therefore the new bail laws do not apply. The old regime exists with respect to bail, and Mr. Pergin, in fact, bail was set in the amount of an $800,000 insurance bond. Other charges include criminal sale of a firearm in the second degree, a C violent felony for illegally selling 5 or more firearms within a one-year period, criminal sale of a firearm in the third degree, a D violent felony, which pertains to the sale of weapons to individuals who are ineligible to purchase those weapons, and criminal possession of a weapon in the third degree, also a D violent felony for possessing assault weapons that are illegal in New York State. What's important to note is on its surface, this sporting goods store, this firearm store looked legit right there in plain sight on the streets of Suffolk County. But what was really happening was he was trafficking in illegal firearms. And if that's not bad enough, we have demonstrable proof that at least in one of those situations, a gun he sold was used in a heinous, heinous crime. He had no right to sell any of these weapons in New York State. Let me be clear about that. He sold assault weapons to non-law enforcement personnel. He did so without a New York State license, and he did so in a way that clearly evinced his criminal intent. In fact, when he was arrested, he made a statement to detectives that he knows he'll be spending time behind bars. This was a decision he made to line his pockets. A decision that has tragic consequences for our community. This was not the first time he had a run-in with the law. In 2015, he surrendered his New York State dealer and firearms license after he learned that it was going to be revoked for improper accounting of the weapons he was selling, including weapons that turned out to be stolen. Without that license, as I mentioned, it is illegal for Mr. Pergin to have purchased, been in possession of, or sold any of these assault weapons. And even if he had that license, he's not permitted to sell these weapons to non-law enforcement personnel. He knew the rules, and he intentionally violated those rules to make money with no regard for the consequences of his actions. As a result of this investigation and the great work done by the Suffolk County Police Detectives, the New York State Police, and my office, Chester's store has been closed, and Mr. Pergin has since surrendered his federal firearms license. He's out of the business. Now, I think it's quite clear why this case was such a priority for my office. As you can see on this table, these are all assault weapons under New York State law. This weapon in particular, as I mentioned, has blood on it, literally. This is a military-grade sniper rifle, 50 caliber. Under the right circumstances, this will put a hole in a tank. This assault weapon has the capacity to shoot 50 rounds in a matter of seconds. The only reason this gun exists with this type of magazine is for a mass shooting. This gun can easily be concealed under a coat, clearly in a backpack. This gun, if I remember how to do it correctly, can you remind me? full-size assault weapon. The amount of ammunition and assault weapons seized and recovered in connection with this case is alarming, all of which, I must emphasize, are illegal. I want to thank all the great work done by the investigators, by the prosecutors, by the experts like Nick. And I want to make it very clear. One of our top priorities in Suffolk County is to combat violent crime. And an integral part of that strategy is to take illegal guns off of our streets. That's exactly what we did today. And with that, I'll take any questions.
So the defense is claiming that they acknowledge that he had to forfeit. He gave up his state license, but says that he has a federal license and is, correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer, right? Is trying to figure out if they need that state license to sell that as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely untrue. In order to sell these weapons in New York State to certain designated people, you need a New York State license. However, even if he had that license, he's not permitted to sell these type of weapons to the people he was selling them to. You cannot sell a .50 caliber sniper rifle that can put a hole in a tank to an ordinary citizen. And call me crazy, but that makes some sense to me.
No, but you can't. I don't know what the law, I mean, you hear all these stories all across the country that people are legally buying weapons like this.
So the only way you can do that is in a state that has rules that allow you to do that. And there's also, if you have the right license, which in this case would be a federal and a state license, you can sell it to designated law enforcement personnel. He was not doing that. He did not have his license, and on top of that, he was not selling to designated law enforcement personnel. What he did was illegal regardless of the status of his license. What makes it worse is that this individual's license was revoked because he did not comply with the rules in the past.
And also, was his license revoked because he was building ghost guns and selling?
No, his license was revoked because of record-keeping issues.
Mr. DA, you said that you collected, I think,
13 additional. So the search warrant uncovered 116, right. And then the detectives worked very hard to go out and try to find some of these weapons that he sold illegally, and we were able to recover 13.
So are there any other guns, illegal guns down the street still?
I think it would be very hard for us to say no to that. This individual's been selling illegal guns for years. That's what the investigation uncovered. We did a great job of uncovering, of recovering 116 in connection with the search warrant, 13 additional thereafter. But to say that they're guns that he sold during that period of time, several years, they're all off the street, I can't say that. I would suspect that there were several guns that he sold that are still on the streets.
Did John LaGurgo have a permit?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Aside from this one, have any of the other guns been tied to any other crime?
Yes, there are many of the weapons that we were able to. Many of the weapons identified in connection with the investigation were stolen.
Well, have they been used in any other crime?
The only one that I'm aware of right now is the murder-suicide. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.